Rain fell hard that night in Kwelu. The trial was still dragging on, but the villagers couldn't sleep. The body of Emeka Okoro had just been found hanging from a tree, the same chilling symbol carved into his chest. And the biggest question haunted everyone's mind. If David was in custody, then who was still killing? Inspector Joseph knew time was running out. The anonymous letter had warned of another sacrifice, and now Emeka's death proved the Brotherhood was not done. He studied the dirt-stained envelope again, his hands trembling. At dawn, soldiers swept the forest shrine. What they found turned every rumor into reality. There, hidden beneath the altar stones, were robes, masks, and ritual tools, fresh with blood. But even more terrifying was a notebook, its pages filled with names. Dozens of them. Some were villagers. Some were outsiders. And shockingly, some were men of power. Among the names was one that struck like lightning: Chief Ikenna, the village leader. The next day in court, the prosecutor was preparing to nail David once and for all. But before the session could begin, Inspector Joseph stormed into the courtroom, slamming the notebook on the judge's desk. The room erupted. Journalists screamed questions. Villagers gasped in disbelief. The judge called for order, but it was too late. The truth was spilling out. David's lawyers seized the moment. "My client is not the leader of this cult. He is a pawn. The real power sits closer to this courtroom than you think." All eyes turned to Chief Ikenna, who sat in the front row, his face pale, his hands shaking. That night, under heavy guard, Chief Ikenna was arrested. At first, he denied everything. But after hours of questioning, the mask slipped. He admitted that he had been part of the Brotherhood for years. He claimed the cult had promised him influence and wealth, demanding sacrifices in return. But when Chike's father defaulted on a debt, Ikenna chose the boy as punishment. David? He was indeed a member, but not the leader. His arrogance had made him an easy scapegoat. The village fell into stunned silence. The chief who was supposed to protect them had been feeding their sons to darkness. The trial shifted dramatically. With the chief's confession, David was acquitted of murder, though he was charged for his involvement in the Brotherhood. Samuel Dyke, the last missing member, was eventually found hiding in a neighboring town and also confessed to aiding the rituals. Chief Ikenna was sentenced to life imprisonment. His downfall was broadcast across the region, a warning to those who hid their crimes behind tradition and secrecy. Inspector Joseph finally stood before the villagers, his voice steady. "Justice has prevailed. The Brotherhood has been broken. But never again shall fear silence you. Evil survives in silence. Speak, and it will be defeated." The shrine was burned to the ground. Families began to return to their farms. Children once again played in the fields without fear. And for the first time in years, the church bell was not drowned out by whispers of cults and blood, but by laughter and hope. At Chike's graveside, his father knelt, tears running down his cheeks. "Son, you did not die in vain. Your blood exposed the truth." The village would never forget the nightmare of the Brotherhood. But they now had something stronger than fear, justice, and the courage to speak. But remember, dear listener, evil never sleeps for long. Somewhere out there, in another quiet village, another secret society may already be waiting in the shadows. If you want more shocking stories of crime, betrayal, and justice, subscribe to Dark Justice Files and turn on notifications. More chilling truths are coming your way.